Yo, what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for what's today? Tuesday, November 14th of 2023. Thanks so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful week so far. I know the week just started, but hopefully you guys are having a good week. So let's go ahead and hop into the transits for today. There's not a lot of major things happening besides the moon making some aspects, but we do also have a couple other things going on. So as you can see, at the time of me making this, we do have the moon, which has ingressed into Sagittarius, wanting to bring that jovial, uplifting, happy-go-lucky Sag energy to the forefront. Now this moon and Mercury are dispositing this Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. Interesting enough, just a quick little side tidbit. Y'all remember how I predicted that volcanoes were going to start going off? I was right. Apparently, there's been some volcanic activity happening pretty much within the last few days, simultaneously. Was it in Italy, Ireland, or Italy, Iceland, and Mexico? Mars opposed Uranus. Just want to throw that little tidbit out there because one of my coworkers showed me yesterday about an active volcano now going off in Mexico, and apparently that there was those other two, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. We have Mars and Scorpio opposing Uranus and Taurus. That totally makes a lot of sense. So, gotta remember, because I said Mars is it's a very fiery, passionate energy, especially in Scorpio. And Taurus, you have Uranus and Taurus, which is volcanoes, that is earthquakes, that is major things like that popping off. So the fact that they oppose each other, boom. So I'm not really surprised by this. Now, they're not going to be quite in opposition today. You have the sun, of course, here at 21 degrees, which is in opposition to Uranus, coming off the opposition. So it's going to start to loosen a bit today as the sun and Mars get ever so closer. They're moving at about the same speed. The sun's moving at a minute a day. Mars moving at 42, a degree a day, and Mars moving at 42 minutes a day. So the sun will eventually catch up to Mars. It's just going to be a little bit. But today we do have the moon on top of Mercury, and this is happening while they are in sextile actually to Venus. So Venus and Mercury are going to be sextiling each other over the next few days as Venus, because Venus is moving at a degree in 6 minutes. Mercury's moving at a degree in 29 minutes. So, yes, Mercury is moving faster than Venus, and it's technically behind as far as the exact sextile, but they will come into their sextile in a very short amount of time. So, we have this harmonic of the sixth energy with the moon, Mercury, and Venus, which 6 is actually the number of Venus. And Venus is in its home sign, in its home decan. So there's definitely going to be an opportunity here. Not only to communicate, it's really coming down to this communicating our beliefs, thinking about these different things. And you got to remember, Mercury doesn't like to be in Sag, much rather be in Gemini, because here it's it can be very, very idealistic, and especially with the sextile to Venus and the opportunity that sextiles present. This can definitely bring up very opportunistic or very idealistic kind of thoughts of, grandeur, or trying to, make things seem maybe even better than what they are. I think this is a time where we may actually there's almost a bit of a divorce from reality a little bit with this. It's we can get very idealistic without actually okay, it's cool to have these beliefs and these ideals of what we think the world should look like, or how people should get along and stuff, and what we want to receive in the world with the Venus and Libra aspect. But how do we actually are we having this filter? Are we just wearing rose tinted glasses and we're looking at the situation, we're looking at life, and we're just trying to gloss over things and not really see things for what they are? That's sort of the danger with the Mercury that's in Sag, especially with the moon here and its sextile over to Venus. Of course, we want to feel like our beliefs matter. We want to feel like Other people may have our beliefs or want to receive our beliefs because, like I said, this is a sextile. This is Venus, which is all about relatability. We want to be able to relate with people. We want to be able to communicate these beliefs and these ideas. We want to be able to communicate these things, but whether or not it's going to actually be well received is another thing. We can kind of get into our own head and kind of paint these images and kind of project out what we think is going to benefit everyone and what we think is going to bring the peace and the balance and the harmony. But we have to just be a little bit careful because not everyone's going to see eye to eye. Not everyone's going to have your same beliefs. And that can be a little bit frustrating for some people, especially if you're like super passionate about certain things. It can get a little frustrating to know that, not everyone's going to have that same belief structure, We're going to see, of course, Venus is going to hit 7 degrees before Mercury hits 7 degrees. But like I said, they're kind of traveling with each other, right? The moon's going to hit 8 degrees. It's going to make the quincunx over to Jupiter. Awkward stare from across the room, especially after coming off of that conjunction, with Mercury and sextiling Venus. Now we're kind of getting a bit of a yacht here, if you want to really look at it. And that yacht's really going to come more into play tomorrow as Venus and Mercury are sextiling, and they're both making quincunxes over to Jupiter. This has a lot to do with our beliefs, our morals, the way that we connect with other people, the way that we seek balance and harmony, relationships. A lot of that stuff is going to come up to the surface today and tomorrow. And a lot of it's going to be a bit awkward because we have to figure out, okay, can we find some common ground? Can we find some commonality between us? And, I think really what this is going to come down to is that we realize that we probably have a lot more in common than we realize. We just maybe have different ways and different methodologies of going about it. And we have to learn how to be okay with that. You know what I mean? So you're going to see that Mercury hit 7 degrees, right? 7-13, 7-0. So they're really close. They're going to be sextiling throughout the day. They're going to be sextiling tomorrow. There's definitely an opportunity that's coming up here. And as I said, with the quincunx that they're going to be making over to Jupiter, and this yacht is already forming today. So you're going to feel this finger of God that's pointing towards Jupiter. And like I said, a lot of times we have a tendency to conflate morality and, beliefs. We have a tendency to conflate the two when really they're not the same thing. There can be overlap, but they're not per se the same thing. So we have to just be, aware of that right now. We have to be aware of that, and with the moon in Sagittarius, it's definitely, of course, like I said, it's wanting to be positive, wanting to feel the good stuff, wanting to bring that jovial, joyous, holiday-like energy to the forefront. Remember, coming off of a new moon, we're not really going to really feel the holidays, I guess, until you see that sun come into Sag, or even really until Saturn actually clicks into the first degree of Pisces, But these holidays are going to be weird. These holidays aren't really going to feel like the holidays. Just going to be upfront, because as soon as the sun comes into Sag, it's going to be squaring Saturn. It's also going to square Neptune during this time as well. So the holidays are going to be feeling a little bit weird. They're going to be feeling a bit off, right? And we just have to kind of prepare for that. But, we have to be able to go within and find those things that we're grateful for. We have to be able to go within and to realize the things that we already do have, those connections that we have already made. And that's really important. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we don't want to take things for granted. We want to, realize the things that we do have, the resources that we do have, because this is about resources as well. And I got to think about that. So, it's, I think Tuesday is going to be a day where we start to kind of come to some realizations and stuff. There could be some conversations that I have with certain people where we're trying to kind of get on the same page about things and try to just work through these issues, trying to just work through some of these complications that we may be experiencing. But like I said, the moon is Sag, at least is bringing some nice, positive, generally positive, uplifting energy. It's in between the squares with Saturn and Neptune. So, We're not going to quite get to the Neptune square today. It's going to be more of like a later tomorrow aspect, even going into Thursday kind of deal. And, the moon is also going to, remember, it's going to end up trining all this Aries energy as well. So, we haven't had like a lot of fire energy. Now we have Mercury in Sag, which, like I said, it's not really the easiest energy. And then, of course, we have the North Node Aries and Chiron in Aries. So it's when it comes to like the fiery energy, the creative, the passionate energy, the guy kind of like go get it energy, and we haven't really been feeling as much, despite the fact that planets are coming off their retrogrades and are going forward. That's the weird thing about this. It's like the limiters are kind of being released, but there's still a bit of a sluggishness to this. So, have some grace in yourself, be easier on yourself. At the same time, don't necessarily just wait around for things to happen. Don't just wait around for, this is kind of like that Four of Cups kind of moment where the universe is going to be presenting us stuff, but we're just being kind of apathetic and kind of lethargic about things. It makes sense why you may be apathetic. It makes sense why you may be lethargic, but this is about taking some accountability for our lives and where we are and, doing something about it. Whether we make some big changes or whether we simply just take that first step of 1,000, that is really what counts. So let's go ahead and hop into the cards for today. Bit of a shorter video. My goal actually is to make these a bit shorter. You know what I mean? And my other goal, honestly, truthfully, is to make these even shorter than what it is right here. My goal is to make like a weekly video, and then for the dailies to be like really short, and then eventually to have something on like the back end and whatever like that. I'm working through all that stuff. So just want to make things more accessible to you guys, something that you guys are, because I know some people see like a 30-minute video and they're like, oh my God, I don't have time to watch that. And I don't want to just stop the long form content, but I got to figure out a way to make it more appealing to people, so that's just the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? So I know some of y'all are cool with the 30-minute videos, but we live in an age where people like quick stuff and people's attention spans are shorter, and I have to cater to that a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's something I'm going to try and work on. So I'm not going to compromise the longer form content. I'm not going to compromise it. I'm just going to introduce some of the shorter content as well. We have the Two of Swords in reverse. This is time to break the stalemate. You know what I'm saying? Like, this card has come up. It came up earlier. I think like in the last week, I know this card has come up, but it's in reverse. I believe it was in reverse the last time too. So there's definitely a feeling that we could finally break the stalemate. Maybe we have that conversation. Maybe we open up that relation. Maybe we kind of, instead of just throwing around ideas, you know what I'm saying? The quincunx, it does kind of force a bit of action. It's not just this awkward energy. It's this awkward energy that kind of forces you to do something about it. So, it's time to kind of, you don't want to just sit around and just stay in stalemate forever. If you're in a stalemate, fucking flip the board and restart the game. You know what I mean? So it's like, we can sit there and just ponder and think and idealize and all this sort of stuff, but then we need to actually get something moving, get some action going. We also have the Ace of Wands in reverse. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us are feeling like, maybe we've been putting in the effort and maybe we just feel like it's not manifesting, or we can maybe feel like our fire isn't as bright as we want it to be, and that can be a bit discouraging. But this is an ace, right? So it doesn't have to be that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? This is coming from like, you have to be able to self-motivate yourself. This is not a motivation that's coming from outside. This is about you being able to motivate yourself to do the things that you need to do so you can live the life that you really want to live, and the life that, God has guaranteed you and has given to you. We also have the Eight of Cups also in reverse. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, this is definitely one of those moments here where I think with the Eight of Cups in reverse here, it's like there's this moment where it almost does feel kind of somber, like we're almost leaving behind a comfortable spot of, it's almost like the stalemate has become a comfort in and of itself, because then you can just ponder forever and just live in your imagination forever. And, you know, imagination, idealizing things, it's nice and stuff. It can bring up some cool things, but whether or not it actually turns into something concrete is another story. That thing, honestly, that's what this quincunx with Mercury, Venus, over to Jupiter, this whole yacht that's going to be forming that we're having today and tomorrow. That's really what it comes down to. It's cool to have the ideas. It's cool to have the dream. Whether we can actually turn it into something concrete is another story. And we don't want to just get trapped in the dream. We don't want to just get trapped in that and let that become a comfort because it feels good. We actually got to get down and get our hands dirty and do the work. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Tuesday. I'll see you guys on Hump Days, astrology forecast. Peace.